Welcome to the AKAPAD's audio audacity, and right here, right now, we're talking Biker Boyz, the 2003 Fast and Furious inspired movie. That's right, Fast and Furious had cars, Biker Boyz has bikes, and hey, I'm your host, Peter A. DeLuca. This is the coolest pop culture podcast you can ever imagine because I'm a guy who I got too much in my head. You already hear that intro. Let's get to talking about this movie, and I'll tell you why I'm on the road. All right, welcome back. So I'm on the road because there's a wedding. Yeah, I'm in Maryland. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, for a wedding. And I have so much time to kill, but I love hanging out in hotels. So I'm at this Doubletree Hilton, and I'm going to work out. Then I'm going to go eat. Then I'm going to slowly get ready. I'm going to release this podcast. It's just it's just a stacked day for me. But I tell you people all the time, I say, look, go out there, create, go do something. And I can't travel without creating. That's the type of person I am. I'm addicted to it. I want that dopamine. It's like heroin. I love it. But anyway, so look, the last few episodes of this wonderful podcast, AKAPAD's audio audacity, please subscribe. We've been talking Fast and Furious, and the last episode 218, I mentioned two of the spin-offs, two of the movies inspired by the Fast and Furious franchise, who I believe were directly inspired. And two separate studios took two separate shots at doing this. One of them was DreamWorks, who I really had no idea was involved with this movie. It blew my mind when I saw the DreamWorks pop up when I decided to watch this, because I never even watched a second of this movie. Torque, I'm more familiar with, and if I have to compare the two, I'm more drawn towards Torque. It's more of a it's just a better story. It's more streamlined, and it's just better shot. But 2003. Okay, so we got time travel. 2003 was also Too Fast, Too Furious. Now, between Fast and Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious, we had Torque. Torque came out in 2002. So 01, The Fast and Furious. 02 is Torque. And 03 is Too Fast, Too Furious and Biker Boyz. And then we had a 3-year delay until Fast and Furious presents Tokyo Drift. That was 2006. Now, this movie was also inspired by a Vanity Fair article that highlighted African-American biker culture. And this movie takes, I haven't read the article, but I would say the first 20 minutes of this movie directly adapts that article, and then it goes, and then it wipes out. This movie completely wipes out after we're introed into all the characters. And then we have almost an avalanche of poorly rendered tropes, okay, black exploitation tropes, and it's such a waste because this movie has one of the best lineups. I mean, everyone you want at that time from 2003 is in this movie, and I had no idea even Lawrence Fishburne was even a factor in this movie. He's wonderful. Derek Luke, who is relatively Lawrence Fishburne's illegitimate, bastard child. He doesn't even know he's a revelation in the movie. Spoiler alert there, but hey, we don't care about spoilers here. Derek Luke plays his son very well. Lisa Bonet, awesome. Kid Rock is in this movie. Kid Rock's the only white dude in this movie. He executes. Orlando Jones, awesome in this movie. We have Jaimin Hansu. He's amazing in this movie. We have Lorenz Tate, and I love Lorenz Tate. He's good in whatever he's in. He's a true character actor. He's good. We have Vanessa Ball Calloway. I'm just going through everything that that Google's bringing up about this cast. Tyson Beckford, okay? Now, when Tyson was in this movie, he was the hottest male model in the history of male models. He looks incredible. We have a young Terrence Howard running in. Terrence Howard, of everyone I'm about to name, he's one of the only people still in the game, still relevant. We have Titus Welliver, that's right. Smoke, Mr. Smoke from Lost is in this movie. He's also in Bosch, the Amazon Prime series. Then we have Rick Gonzalez. He's the second good character actor in this movie, next to Tate. We have Brendan Furr. I'm sorry, we have a few white people. Brendan Furr is he's so his relationship in this movie, like he's just thrown into this movie. There's really nothing to do. And then as a background character, do you like Rufio? Do you like Hook? Do you like Steven Spielberg? Do you like Robin Williams? Rufio from Hook. Dante Basco is in this movie. He barely has a role, but he's there. And then rounding out the cast, we have an interesting addition. We have Eric LaSalle. Now, Eric LaSalle was super hot on ER around this time. There was few actors on TV that were as magnanimous as Eric LaSalle. That show, I kind of viewed like ER really never recovered from Eric LaSalle's departure. He was in the role with ER that seemed tailor made for him, that seemed perfect. It's a crime Eric LaSalle, number one, dies early in this movie. Spoiler alert. I always say spoiler alert after I spoil, because we don't care about spoilers on this podcast. And the movie kind of doesn't know where to go after the death, because look, I try and find the silver lining in everything I watch. Here's the silver lining. This movie is shot so well at dark. At night, you forget that there's trickery involved to achieve that. Complete home run. I would say Biker Boys and Collateral are the two best night shot movies ever, and Collateral is enabled just through technology, not through technique. There's some technique in Collateral. The music's good in this movie. The cast, everyone in this movie is awesome. Where this movie fails is the actual plot. It's the execution. It's the storyline. It's your index cards laid out, because that's how we write movies. We lay it all out on index cards. We put it up on the board so we can see it. It just fails. There's too many plot threads. There's too many plots. It's a little bit like Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. It's hard to pinpoint the focus of this movie. Once the focus of this movie emerges, you're not interested, because you've invested emotionally into separate threads, and you're trying to find something to hold on to. By the time that's there, it's just not impactful enough. It's not important enough. Am I talking platitudes? Perhaps. But this movie has like a good soundtrack. It's a good definition of 2003. But what, like Too Fast, Too Furious, if I were to compare the two, Too Fast and Too Furious destroys this movie overall. Okay? Now, this could be a little bit because our filmmaker, Reggie Rock Bithwood, he's more of a screenwriter. Like his overall directing experience isn't great. Isn't something to discuss, but he's a career guy and he's been in the game for a long time, and that's how we end up with movies sometimes. It's just people working a career, like rocking and rolling, trying to get that paycheck. So I'm watching this movie and I'm just like struggling to find things to grip, stuff to hold on to, stuff to talk to all of you about, and I'm just coming up flat. I'm coming up short. And it's depressing because I always believe. Look, I just watched a movie for the 31 Days of Dread. I watched a movie called Microwave Massacre, and I found so much good about that movie. It's on Amazon Prime. Go check it out. That I'm getting upset that there's not enough for me to draw on. And what I mean by black tropes, I mean Kid. He's like, he becomes our focus character. Okay, again, he's played by Derek Luke. Okay, Derek Luke, it's a great performance. He, within the story, he breaks off on his own. We see a little bit of the politics of the biker clubs and the way that they're organized. the crime element is taken out of this movie because Lawrence Fishburne actually somewhat plays it straight. They're just part of a biker gang, which is kind of weird because like they have to have a criminal element, but like so to take away the criminality within this movie, and it's a little bit of a straight shooter, and it's just it's a hard sell. It doesn't really sell. It doesn't come off. I think that was a mistake. That they needed a criminal element for sure in this movie within the biker gangs, just for the story to work, just for the stakes of the story to be a little bit higher. But Derek Luke breaks off and forms his own gang, or his own biker club, because they're called clubs, not gangs, and it's Biker Boys. And well branded, like yellow, we have golden yellow and black. It's just looking cool, rocking and rolling. And I don't know. We have so many characters that we've recognized later that like they're kind of swinging for the fences, even Elena Jones, and they kind of have nothing to do. And there's an obvious criminal element within this movie, and it's not highlighted, and that's where the movie I'm telling you, it just drips. It just a little bit of Biker Boys falls flat. It immediately makes me want to watch Torque and really compare the two. And I think post 31 Days of Dread, because laying out the next few episodes, episode 2020 or 220 is going to be the 31 Days of Dread lead in, and then we're going to go right into the 31 Days of Dread. Day one of the 31 Days of Dread will be Brightburn. So watch it. Check it out. I was amazingly impressed with Brightburn. I can't wait to talk to all of you about it. Huge missed opportunity when it comes to attaching an audience to something. Like the audience failed Brightburn, but anyway, yeah. And like was there more in Biker Boys to become a franchise than Torque? Yeah, yes, because Biker Boys had this like universe built into it with all these cool different clubs. With the racing and like I said, Derek Luke, they really don't know what to do with the character. When it comes to Black Troops, Derek Luke, again, illegitimate child of Lawrence Fishburne. They don't know who's father and who's son, and they're having this like father and son struggle. Like single motherhood. Like angry youth. You see this a lot, and like I would even argue Blade is part of that too. Like and Blade, I went into Blade expecting Blade, the Wesley Snipes Blade, to be a black exploitation movie, and it blew my mind, and I love every single frame of that movie. But he doesn't have like a full black cast. That's the difference with this movie. And I just feel like there's so much talent, there's so much wasted within this film. It's just frustrating, and it's not. I don't think it's a good lead into the 31 Days of Dread. I really thought I was going to love this movie, and I just ended up not. So like overall, like would I say Biker Boys is worth seeing just to get it like out of your system to help understand Fast and Furious a little bit more? I would say yes. On that note, it's worth noting like and understanding what Fast and Furious inspired along the way, because after these two movies kind of did nothing, they broke even. This and Torque pretty much broke even. Like let me double check. I think this movie's budget was $32 million. Let's go. Budget $24 million, box office $24 million. So 24, and Torque was like 32. Which is kind of funny. It kind of goes to show you like marketing budgets. They can market a movie right into its budget, and again, that's some of the dynamics of how studios stay in business. They can at least make their money back. I would have liked this movie to have been more so it was incentivized to become a franchise, because you could do a lot with this movie. And like I said, the people in this movie are so talented, they're so good. You could have fed them more. You could have fed them more Biker Boys. I think Biker Boys is brandable, maybe more brandable than Fast and Furious, to be perfectly honest. And like would something like this serve to I don't know, come back because the title's so good? Yeah, reboot Biker Boys. Let's get it. Motorcycles and the fascination with motorcycles and motorcycle racing is far more than street racing. Let me tell you, because there's a reason why every single superhero movie franchise, all of them, Mission Impossible, Spawn, The Dark Knight, it goes on and on and on. They all have motorcycles for a reason, because motorcycles are cooler. They're just cool. I would love to see a long-standing motorcycle franchise emerge even now, and I think Biker Boy still has a template. I think it could be remade, just tighter. That's all. You can even keep the same story elements. But hey, everyone, I gotta go. I got a wedding to report to. Let's get it done. I love you, and until next time.